his Jaguars primetime debut. Joe Burrow and the Bengals ready to steal the show. They've got a kid on their defense that is leading the league in interceptions at linebacker. We're breaking it all down right here. Jags Bengals Week 4 starting right now as we kick off there in Cincinnati. So let's, there goes my IFB.
You okay?
Mercury's in retrograde.
What a show! Let's go!
Yesterday. You can watch us right here on NFL Network and on the NFL app. And welcome to Good Morning Football. We're presented by Old Trapper Beef Jerky. My name is Kay Adams, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brand, and it is an absolute pleasure to introduce Matt Cassel.
Yo! Cassel, what's up, dude? Let's go! You ready? Yeah, fire it up! Jags Bengals!
7 NFL teams? I did the math in my head. Is it 7?
7 NFL teams and a few tryouts, that maybe counted. But, 7 NFL teams.
Most notably, Kansas City, New England Patriots.
City,
we'll talk
New
about
England, a little bit of Minnesota. Traded twice in 1 year. Buffalo, Dallas, Tennessee Titans, Detroit. I mean, come on, guys. Let's keep the party going.
Get your tweets to Matt Cassel. We all have questions at GMFB. It is time for the Lead Block.
Lead Block.
Yep, we welcome in Cameron Wolfe. He's at Paul Brown Stadium here. I think the sun is not even up behind him. No, it is not. Cameron, thank you for joining us and waking up so early to party with us and set the scene ahead of tonight's huge Thursday Night Football matchup. Let's talk about what's going on there behind you and what will be going on hours from now.
Top of the morning, Kay. Nothing is going on behind me. Absolutely nothing right now. It's just me out here. But this is the Big Cat Bowl, Other than that, there's the 2 number 1 overall picks playing against each other, Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence. That's the main selling point here. I'm really looking at this Bengals team. This has been hot. I know you got a lot of love there in Cincinnati, Kay. We got this team coming off this Steelers matchup. Joe Burrow's looking back to his old self. And you got the Bengals who are trying to prevent the Jaguars from playing spoiler. The Jaguars lost 18 consecutive games. The record is 26. I spent some time in Jacksonville this week trying to figure out exactly what's going on there. And they feel like that win is coming. Maybe this week it's a big platform, Thursday Night Football. They want to play spoiler for the Bengals who feel like this is their showcase game going forward. Obviously, the quarterbacks will get a lot of attention, but I think Joe Mixon could end up being the guy who steals the show. He had 151 yards, 2 touchdowns the last time he played this Jaguars team. Can he do it again here Thursday night?
Yeah, you said it's showcase game. These Bengals, 2-1. They got some heat on them. They're coming off a win. What kind of statement are they going to try to make tonight? And will it be like yours with that lapel pin? Because that's strong.
Appreciate it, Kyle. Let's keep it real. The Bengals haven't been darlings of the NFL for a while. I spoke with Bengals corner Mike Hilton. He spent the last 5 years with the Steelers. So I asked him, what's your perspective of the Bengals now compared to where it was before? And he was like, hey, man, they were the little brothers to us before. We viewed them as the bottom of the division, sort of bottom dwellers, and now we feel like we've made a 360, but we have to prove it. And they did it with the Steelers win this past week, but now they have a national audience. Talked to receiver Tyler Boyd this week, and he said that this is their statement game. They really want to prove that they can compete with the Ravens and the Steelers, the AFC North. They think they can win this division. They think they have all the pieces. Joe Burrow's healthy. Joe Mixon's there. They got some guys on defense, so they feel like this is not the same old Bengals team. So like you said, showcase game, statement game. Can they go 3-1?
Joe Mixon, second in the NFL in rushing. Jamar Chase, of course, 4 touchdowns in 3 games as a rookie, reunited with his QB. They look good on defense, too, and we'll get to all of that. Thank you so much, Cameron Wolfe. Number 1 pick versus number 1 pick. And beyond just the quarterbacks, this might be a huge matchup for both squads, of course, in that division, as Cameron outlined there. What is the one thing that you are really zeroing in on for Thursday Night Football?
Okay, all due respect to Mike Hilton and the defense and what the Jaguars have, and Josh Allen's a great pass rusher on there, and this is about the 2 quarterbacks, and I cannot wait to see them because it is a rematch, and I like to go back into the memory bank and go back. Joe Burrow just absolutely put on a show the last 2 times these guys played, and it was in the national title game, and it was all LSU right from go. It was Joe Burrow's really national coming out party. Joe Burrow was fantastic in this title game. 2020, 31 of 49, 463 yards, 5 touchdowns. There are so many future pros in this game. Jordan Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Caleb Chase on, Clyde Edwards-Helaire on one side, Trevor Lawrence, T. Higgins on the other side. You can go all through the list, and Burrow was the best one of them. And yet here we are, and it's week 4 of the NFL. We've only seen Joe Burrow on national television 1 time since. He played last year in week 2 in a Thursday night game that they lost. And here he is, and this is a team that is 2-1, about to maybe go 3-1.
3-1 is nice.
And Joe Burrow could be a star in this league. Former first overall pick who has already beaten the almighty Trevor Lawrence head-to-head in a game. No one else really did that in college. Joe Burrow did. I cannot wait to see these two quarterbacks go back. Is it a revenge game for Trevor Lawrence and his coming out party? Or is it Joe Burrow saying, you guys already know what I do to this guy. I take care of business. I'm going to smoke a cigar afterwards.
Oh.
What do you think?
You know what? My big thing is Trevor Lawrence, right? So far this season, he's got 7 interceptions, leads the league with 9 turnovers. The thing for me is I want to see just a great outing by him. Protect the football, take care of it, and then go out and play like the #1 pick that he's capable of playing. Like right now, like I said, he's had his troubles, and again, he's learning as he goes, and that's part of the maturation process at this quarterback position. But if he can just take care of the football mainly and put the ball where he needs to play, he's got guys out there, right? DJ Chark, Chenault, Marvin Jones, all these guys can go out and make plays for him. He just doesn't, he's got to realize that he doesn't have to do too much. And that's the biggest part for me.
He's the anointed one. Are you surprised with what you're seeing out there?
You know what? I'm not, because it's a bad football team, right? And it's one of those things that when you're a quarterback and you're out there, especially a young quarterback, you start to feel that pressure that you need to make a play. And when you fall behind, which he's not used to doing, right? Throughout his college career, what did he lose? 3 games total? And so he's not used to losing ball games. So you start to feel that pressure and you need to say, oh, man, I got to make a play. But then those forced errors become big errors, as we've seen over the last few weeks.
I think, Matt, we don't need a Picasso from him tonight. I don't even know if we need a win. We need something. You got to give us something. Do you guys remember when Roger Goodell introduced Trevor Lawrence and he put on a black turtleneck and went in front of a big screen and there was a huge crowd here and he said, ladies and gentlemen, the Lawrence. And everybody freaked out and they're like, wow, this is incredible. This is going to change everything. And then they got it and they started kind of playing with it and they're like, why are these U2 songs on here? And like, this thing doesn't work that well. And like, this is the smartphone of quarterbacks. We got to start working a little bit. And I do think there's something, what I'm looking for tonight is, where's he at psychologically? Because over the last couple weeks, it's not just the throws and the accuracy. There's not a lot of buzz. There's not a lot of fire from him. And so the stat that, Matt, the stat that everybody always said about you is, did you know Matt Cassel never started in college? And here he isn't because you were behind Palmer and Leinart and stuff. That'd just be the thing people would bust their chops about. The thing that comes up with Lawrence is that he has never lost a regular season game since college, since high school. So think about it this way. He has never lost a football game at any level and had to come back the next week and play another one. Every time he has lost a game, it's into the offseason, 8 months, 7 months, and now he's done it for a month straight. How much adversity has he really faced? How much times has he gotten beaten up and I'd be like, God, I'm sore, I got to play again? Never. This is the first time we were seeing him getting beaten down in college, in high school, in the pros. I want to see what he brings tonight, intensity and focus, because he has the smartphone, and I want to play with him.
See, and I look at the Bengals side of it, and I said, Bengals defense, I pumped you up yesterday. You're the 6th best in the National Football League. Do not be the defense that Trevor Lawrence figures it out against. That's all I'm asking. If you want to be in the mix, in the AFC North for a playoff spot, do not be like the Trevor Lawrence get right, you're a Picasso game. Don't do it. They paid Trey Hendrickson. This is a team that doesn't pay a lot of people. They've paid DJ Reader when he's been healthy out there. He's been really effective, especially in that division where they have to stop the run as often as they do. I will say Trey Hendrickson, who they paid after having a crazy, 13.5 sack season that a lot of teams I think saw as an anomaly. He did his thing. He's had 2.5 sacks over the last 2 games. He's proving to a lot of doubters out there that he's not a 1-year, 1-season wonder. Do not you can't rely on Joe Burrow and Mixon and Jamar to do everything. So I hope the defense figures it out, which makes for a great game tonight. Week 4 is starting and kicking off, and we've got the most hyped matchup since the Super Bowl coming on Sunday night, and that's where we're going right now. Tom Brady's return to Foxborough. Oh, it's so weird that we have you here, Matt Cassel,
clutch.
to discuss that one between the Buccaneers and the Patriots. 4 years in New England. You're very close to Brady and Belichick. Who is the genius? I'm just going to put it to you like that. Who's the genius behind the football, behind the Super Bowls, behind the legacy? Is it Brady or Belichick? Simple question.
Oh, simple question, right? It's not complex at all. I mean, the fact
Jaguars, Bengals, go.
Yeah,
Brady,
Jaguars,
Belichick.
Brady, Belichick. No, here's how I look at it, right? They both deserve credit because if you look at the first 3 Super Bowls, right, that they went out and played, they won those Super Bowls by playing great defense. They're opportunistic. They took care of the football. But Brady wasn't this, and you can go back and look at the stats, right? He wasn't the guy that we all know and love today.
Right.
But then you go to the last 3 Super Bowls, and this is when you start to see him become the GOAT, right? And he generally was the GOAT as we got into that. But he put that team on his back. Against Seattle, they came from 2 touchdowns behind. Against the Atlanta Falcons, it's 28-3. Are you kidding me? How did they lose that game, right? And then against the Rams, they're down they needed a score late, and he does it. I mean, so he put that team on his back. What I'll say is they both deserve credit. And while Bill Belichick's the guy that kind of put this whole structure together and everything, Tom Brady's the guy that helped facilitate that, right? And by that I mean he was the guy in off-season workouts every year that would go and win the parking spot year in, year out, which set the tone for everybody there, right? Which I definitely at times was like, well, pump your brakes. I beat him in every run. And are you kidding me? Let's go, bro.
Well, the runs,
I was
anybody can beat
younger. I
the
mean,
runs.
that's what I'm saying. That was helpful, but I could also lift a little bit. But then you're talking about how he handled his contracts, right? He was always the guy that took less money, and everybody would be like, man, how is Tom Brady?
People don't talk about that enough.
Right,
Good call.
and so, but Bill Belichick was able to go out there and say, look, he's taking a pay cut. We're not going to pay you the max amount. Come here and you'll win ball games, right? And so there's so many different factors to how Brady helped Belichick, but at the same time, it was one of those situations that it just worked together. So I think they both deserve credit, and I'm not going to say one deserves more than the other, but it's just interesting their tenure together and how many different angles you can look at it from.
You were there for 4 years, and it was in the first half of the Brady-Belichick relationship. Was there a great fondness between the two, or was it, coach, 53 players, or was it, hey, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, those guys are simpatico?
Oh, it's definitely not one of those where you walk down the hallway and be like, oh, they're hand in hand, right? It was a working relationship, right? He was the boss, Brady was the player, and there was a very significant divide there, right? And you would understand that as a player too. Like there was no blurring those lines, and so as a player, you understood where you were with Bill Belichick, you understood where you were with the team, but that also allowed Bill to go out and hold people accountable in the team meeting, right? He wasn't going to play favoritism. And Brady was one of those guys, again, that helped facilitate that, where he can call Brady out, well, he can hold you accountable, and no one person's bigger than a team. So, and that was a huge statement for that organization and why I think they've been able to win. And you hear this Patriot way, well, that was part of it.
We have a lot of time to talk about this over 2 days. My take has always been, if Bill Belichick never met Tom Brady, I don't think Bill Belichick is a Super Bowl champion. If Tom Brady had never had Bill Belichick in his life, I think he has multiple rings. Fair or unfair?
I think it's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, let's be honest, there's great coaches out there, and Bill Belichick's probably the greatest coaches of our generation, but great players make great coaches.
Man. It's going to be a great time, Matt.
Let's go, Matt.
Let's go!
At GMFB with your tweets, we'll of course be talking about this leading up to that big-time Sunday night football matchup with Week 4. Week 4 kicks off tonight right here on NFL Network, 8 p.m. Eastern.